Hello everyone. I would like to speak about some developer tooling. So if anyone is listening, we are Aki and we will be presenting open source framework that everyone can use. It's called Wake. Hi, I'm Josef. I'm CEO of Aki Blockchain, and we are basically auditors, but the good auditors audit, the best auditors create open source. It's like Trailbits, Open Zeppelin, and Aki. And we are happy to be in this space thanks mainly to our clients and partners. So all the open source couldn't be possible without our clients such as 1inch, Lido, Safe, or Axelar. And also we received grants in the very past from Ethereum Foundation. We are getting grants from Solana Foundation and from Coinbase. So thank you guys for supporting the open source. So what is Wake? We call it sometimes a Swiss knife because it integrates basically all the tooling the Ethereum developers need. So the first thing the developer needs is a testing framework. So basically if you know Brownie, for example, or Hardhat, so this is something that we do as well. But of course the motivation is not to be just another tool. Something we do very specifically is fuzzing. I'll get into it later. And also we integrate into the tool static analysis. So if you know tools such as Slitter, so you have it here in one tool. You have the possibility to have security detectors in this tool. And we also have something called language server, which allows further UI enhancements. How does it look? Wake is written in Python. Maybe you will ask, why Python? The trick we use is basically we are transforming the Solidity code using PyTypes to Python. That's what Wake does on the background. And with this transformation, the debugging can be then done on Python tooling. If you know Solidity, it's very hard to debug in Solidity. The debugger is not production ready. So we transform this issue basically to Python. And you can see it in action. This is just a Python debugger debugging Solidity smart contract. So if you're familiar with the Python tooling, you can very easily debug any smart contract written in Solidity and you don't have to do anything extra. So we wrote this because we needed this tool. We as auditors are debugging all the time and this is something we have been missing. So it's the first part what Wake does. Then we can do some crazy stuff. Of course, there are fuzzers, for example, in Hardhat. But fuzzing is a very powerful technique, for example, in DeFi. Are there any DeFi builders in the room? Yes. So what we do with fuzzing is basically we can create a model of the DeFi protocol in our framework, and then we can write a set of fuzz tests, and we can be fuzz testing the model against the deployed contract. Because, for example, rounding errors in DeFi, it's very hard to find it by just looking at the code. So it's better to run some fuzz tests. And by this approach, basically, we are testing the model, we are testing the on-chain deployed contracts, and we are just looking if it's returning the same results. Sometimes it's not, and then it's a problem. So by this technique, which is then very easy to implement, we can basically test the things that the auditors miss, and everyone can do it. It's open source. Then, of course, we have integrated the detectors. So if you're on Slitter, we have, I think, much better UI, and we are focusing on detectors that have very low false positive ratio. So we have this kind of like output on the command line, and it works. This is the table of findings. Basically, we discovered using Wake, not by manual code review, but purely the tool found it. So we have one medium issue in Lido. It was discovered like 1 month ago. We have medium issues in Axelar. Of course, some critical issues in DeFi protocols. So it kind of works. And maybe you would be skeptical about the performance because it's in Python. But we have rewritten all 271 Uniswap V3 tests in 3 frameworks. So there's a massive test suite. And basically, we have rewritten the tests in Brownie, Ape, and Wake. These are Hardhat tests. And we have tested the test suite against 3 chains. And the result, we are, as a Wake, optimizing for Anvil. So on Anvil, we are the fastest framework that's running over this whole massive test suite. We are able to finish the 271 tests in over 3 seconds. So we have more like 10x to Brownie, for example. So it's fast. And here, if you would like to see some kind of like big picture, this is how it compares to other frameworks. I'll give you a second to take a picture if you want to. And as I told, we have also the language server, which is kind of like possibility to create UI on top of Wake, which is a command line tool. And our UI is called Tools for Solidity. It's VS Code extension. You can find it on the VS Code Marketplace, of course for free as well. And it's just front end for Wake. But we can then have such nice outputs directly in the VS Code. That, for example, here on the left, you can see the detections the Wake made on the background. And the output is directly visible to the developer as he writes the code in VS Code. The installation is just one click. You just install the extension, and it on the background installs all the Wake dependencies, so you don't have to do anything. And you have these very nice outputs directly in the developer environment. And also it allows to highlight the vulnerabilities, so you see exactly which line is, for example, I know, possible entrancy. And also nice feature, we are somehow visualizing the test coverage. So if you write tests in Wake, you see which code is covered by visual indication. And if you want to see how the extension stands against the other extensions, so this is also a kind of like summary of the VS Code extensions that are available on the marketplace. If you want to, you can take a picture. And we think we are the most future-rich extension right now. So this is it. If you would like to try the Wake framework, here's the QR code, or just go to Get Wake and install the VIP package, or install by compiling the source. Thank you for listening, and see you around.